Hey guys, check it out. More Transformers here for the collection. Thank you so much for joining me for another one. As you guys can see, this is the concept art Megatron, part of the studio series from the Transformers Bumblebee movie. As you guys can see, it's concept art, so of course this guy was not in the movie, but as I understand it, is they had concept art for a lot of these figures or characters that did not appear in the movie, so they're making figures based on them. So I decided to get this because he does look really awesome. And I also do have the Optimus Prime from this movie series. So I'd figure let me add him, but he looks pretty badass. You see here the cardboard, no plastic window. But you got Megatron there looking really cool. You got Megatron here, number 109, his face. On the back, you've got the figure. Bit of a triple changer. This time you've got a tank mode and a ship mode, and you get your little background as all these figures always do. So really cool there. I love this side here with this, I guess, concept art, and you've got Megatron here. But really cool nonetheless. I'm going to open this up. Hopefully it'll be a cool figure.
So, Megatron out of the box here. What you do get is your instructions, which for this guy, warning, you will need. The transformation, at least for me, was very complicated considering this guy is a triple changer. So just something to keep in mind. I would review these. You do also get this awesome artwork like you do with most of the studio series movies. You get this awesome artwork. This is from the Bumblebee movie, the Cybertron scene when all the Decepticons and the Autobots are fighting at the very beginning. So it's a very cool backdrop. Again, very nice for posting a figure if you want to take some do some action figure photography. Really cool there. But of course the main event here is Mr. Megatron himself here, looking really cool. I will say out of the box, my first impressions is I was very, very impressed with this guy. Almost reminded me of a little masterpiece figure. The build quality, at least on my copy on the plastic, is really well done. Really no issues, and even the parts that are technically softer plastic than the rest, like these wings back here, they're not as soft as other Transformer figures. They're just the right sort of feel for them, so it doesn't feel cheap or anything. The whole figure itself has a very deluxe feeling, I would say, right out of the box. I mean, the details there on the face, you could see it there. Definitely G1 Megatron, but of course, they've given it sort of enough of a new feel to fit in with the whole Bumblebee universe feel. So the head, again, no issues on my end. Love that chest piece with the Decepticon insignia there, looking really, really cool. And overall, just the color, the gray plastic, even like the red that they've used here, some nice glossy red, looks really, really cool. But all the silver and black and dark gray, all the details sort of look really, really well done on this guy. I mean, when you look at things like these silver panels here, really well done. The color on the legs here, again, all really cool. The gray and black and dark plastic. This is a really cool looking figure here on this guy. Really well done. I mean, just out of the box, I was like, whoa, really impressed. The other thing is he's very solid feeling. The joints are all pretty tight. And then everything on the back is just so neatly sort of put together. He has a little bit of a backpack, but it's nothing egregious. But man, even like the legs, the back of the legs where the threads are mostly at, everything's just nice and compacted. So I would say this figure is really well done. Like I said, almost like a mini tiny masterpiece. I think if this were die cast, or if it had die cast, it would just take it over the top. But as you guys can hear, I'm a huge fan of this figure. As far as articulation, you can move the head completely around, if that's your thing. He can look up slightly and then maybe look down about that much. The joints here, again, as I said, they're so solid feeling, but you can move them up this way. They can rotate on this angle. The forearms here can also rotate as well, so that's a thing you could do. You can also get some rotation here by the forearms, and of course you got your 90-degree, a little more than 90-degree bend on this guy. The hands themselves, the fists, can turn, and also these fingers are articulated for the most part, but he does have these three bottom fingers here are all kind of stuck together, but you can move them, you know, in and out, and he can do a pointy sort of pointing figure gesture there. But again, that's pretty cool. I think I was just expecting, you know, one piece hands that were kind of just stuck in that fist position. So it's really cool that we're getting these more articulated hands and fingers with this guy. You do get some articulation here in the chest or upper arm region because of the transformation, the way it works in this guy. You get some additional joints here, so you can move the arms in and out, and that kind of helps to pose this guy in a little more in dynamic poses. As far as the whole torso here, this guy can turn completely around if that's something you need to do, but again, the articulation's there. The other part is his whole waist here. You got these awesome hip skirts that move up, but then they also rotate back. I mean, and again, that's part of the transformation, but you can rotate them back if you wanted to put this guy in some extreme poses. And again, that is a really cool touch. These front skirts here, you can also move them out to give the legs a bit more room and freedom there to move. And essentially what that allows you to do is move complete split almost all the way up. As you guys can see, he's very flexible. He can kick back about that much before he hits these, you know, the hip skirts. Forward pretty high. Again, extremely flexible Megatron there. And you've got your a little more than 90-degree there bend on the knee. So again, all really cool. And you can move these back and down. And then the feet here, you can move them up and down. And you also got some nice solid feeling, you know, knee, sort of ankle articulation there. So this guy, you can put him some really cool poses. They're certainly not lacking in the posing department, and the overall look, I gotta say, I'm glad that this was released. Of course, this wasn't in the movie. This guy wasn't in the Bumblebee movie, so it's a concept art essentially, but it would have been cool to see this guy, at least in that very beginning of Bumblebee, because he looks really cool as an action figure. I mean, or as a transformer there. In the back, again, everything's so neatly put together, the articulations there. I mean, you've got a little detailing here on the forearms where all this little gribbling and lines and like cylinders, and it's all over. And I think it's well done on the shoulders. Even like the hip skirts have that, like that little detailing over the arms and the legs, and whatever little other color like the red that they've used to accentuate the different little parts, like here on the chest, is done really, really well right below the chest. The cannon here, again, it's softer plastic than the rest of the body, but man, I think this is a well done Transformer figure. Like, it feels, again, really solid. He's poseable, very imposing. You know, no complaints from my end in this mode. Like, this is a really good figure. Some of the things you could do before we move on to transformation is this cannon here. If you wanted to, you could store it back here on the back. So if you, let's say, want to give him a bit of that G1 look with the, you know, he had the whole the gun tip on the back, you can do that. But the instructions do show you that there is a way to transform this, so you can essentially fold this in if you wanted to, and then loosen this up here, fold it all the way out, and then essentially this just kind of folds in and it sits in place like that. And then at that point you could take this here and stick it on the back for, you know, either storage, or you could put it like this if you wanted to. The instructions say to store it this way to get it out of the way. Me personally, obviously, this has to be his fusion cannon for me. So You know, I'm going to display this guy pretty much like this. So, and this cannon, again, it's really well done. This whole figure, like whatever detailing they've managed to add to it, I think is top notch here. Definitely, this is a really nice looking Megatron. Now, I think this is where some of my complaints are going to start, and it's in regards to the fact that this guy is a triple changer. Transformation wise, he's got two modes. He's got a tank mode, and he has a spaceship mode, I guess. And I think at least, you know, we'll go through it. Transformation wise, as I said, he is a bit complicated. Almost reminds me of like third party wise, like. But we'll start by moving these hip skirts around and turning them all the way to the back, taking these two front hip skirts and just moving them all the way to the front so they look somewhat like that. Next thing to do would be to work on these legs for the tank mode. So the way this works is we're going to take these, essentially these are like the wings of the ship mode, and you're going to take this, undo it, and just leave it like that for now. Same thing here. We're going to take this, undo that, and just leave it like that for now. Next thing to do is to pull these threads out. So you're gonna take this out here, you're gonna pull it out, you have to untab it, essentially move the foot out to get it out of the way, and you have to untab this. Mine are pretty tight, so it takes a bit of playing around. So once you do that, once you get this thread out, there is a section here that you need to pull out. It's tabbed in there pretty tight, but as you can see, you can just pull it out. It comes right out. Take this foot here and just fold it all the way in, and then you're going to tab this black section up here, and you'll see how that all fits in. So just swing that forward, and you're kind of left with something that looks like that. At that point, you can take this wing here, this gray part, fold it down once, and then fold this bottom part out slightly so that it sits like that, and boom, you're kind of done at that point. Next thing to do is same thing on the other leg, right? You're going to get this foot, move it out of the way, take the black thread and sort of push it, put that out, and then also make sure then that you get this section out from this leg here, and you'll see it. Yep. Take this foot here, fold it down, and then you're just going to tab this in like so. Take this section here, fold it down, and then fold the wings, so you're left with something like this. At this point, then you can then take this whole the legs essentially and pull them apart. You'll see he'll accordion out his legs, and he'll look something like so. Okay, so now the next thing to do is there's threads back here. On mine, these are really hard to pull out, so back here, these sections, you just gotta pull them out, and so they look like that. Mine's, as I said, it's like they're almost like stuck in there, but there you go. Once you get them out, you're good to go. You're pretty much done with this whole bottom section at that point. Next thing to do would be to take these hands, hide them in there. The fists do have to be in a certain way, like the thumb or the pointy finger has to be in like that, and the rest of them you know, sort of like a fist, so that these fists can fit in there pretty well. So as you guys can see, if you don't do that, then you might get stuck in there. So just make sure that these fingers here are all the way down, and then you should be able to fit that in like so. Close that. The hands are pretty much done at that point. You can just leave them be for now. Next then would be to you can put these down for now, and then take them and fold them around sort of like the way they were, just flat down, so that you look something like that. Next thing to do is pull this whole back part out, so that you can take this out, and it kind of accordions out. This transformation is very masterpiece like, very third party, I would say, which is not bad. It's nice to get such a complex figure at a lower price, I guess, scale here. Next thing to do would be to pull this whole chest out. So we're gonna pull this out, and the head here that was facing forward like this, you're gonna turn it and then pull this out this way so that his head sort of facing down. At that point, you can take these two sections here and just flatten them out over to the sides, and they kind of just sit in place like so. You can take these skirts and just kind of have them sitting like so. Next thing to do here would be, now we're going to take these legs and we're just going to flip them around. And here you'll see that there's this gray section here where I'm pointing at that gets tabbed into the lighter gray section like so. And then same thing here, we're just gonna take this and tab it into the gray section there. Next thing to do here is we're gonna lay this whole section here flat down, and it should click in place. There you go, like so. Now, last thing to do here is we're going to fold these arms in, and you'll see here, once you fold these two arms in, you got to put these at an angle, and that's because, I don't know if you could see it there, but there's a section here where this tab on the left arm fits into the right arm on the shoulder anyway, so that these are angled in like so. So they're going to be something like this. Oh, sorry, I just undid it. So like so. So essentially you are then going to take this cannon here, right? We're going to turn this over to the left, if I remember correct. So something like that, so that it looks like so. And then we're going to put the cannon like this, right? So you got one tip here, another tip here, and then you're gonna take this, you're gonna tab it back in like so, and you're just gonna turn just the forearm here, not the whole arm, but just the forearm enough so that it sits like that. And then same thing here, you're gonna turn this forearm, and then you're gonna fold this in here like this. And at that point, you are done. You're done with the tank mode. This is my favorite mode out of the two. It kind of reminds me, if you guys, whoever's watching, if you know SNK or Metal Slug, it reminds me of a Metal Slug tank from that game. This is my favorite mode, but I don't know, I kind of feel like if they had just made this into just a tank, they probably could have used some more time to cover up all this hollowness here that's in here. It's not too bad looking. I think definitely like this, it looks like a futuristic Cybertron like tank, so nothing too bad. This turret here, because it's on a, you can move it up and down, so that's cool that you can do that. And the other cool thing is, because this is technically the upper body, this fully turns around, so it does give you a lot of freedom of movement there with the turret there. And the bottom, the only thing that bothers me here is obviously you can see his head pretty much all the way just facing down, which again doesn't bother me too much, because if we display this guy, he's going to be like this. So yeah, I mean, this mode's not too bad. It's the favorite out of the two, but again, I do think that they've sacrificed some in trying to make this guy into a triple changer. Like, I guess what does bother me a bit is the fact that these are just the hands kind of splayed out this way. But again, it's not bad. I definitely love this whole section here. So that's a tank mode, guys. So on to the spaceship mode. Best thing to do would be to undo the arms here from the cannon. You can take one out, and then just take this whole section out for now like this. Next thing would be this whole section that is now going to become the cockpit. So you're going to turn this around and you're going to take this black part underneath here that was at the front and essentially fold it completely out, 1, 2, until you're left with something like so. So next you're going to take this head, you're going to fold this down for now, and then you're going to turn the head fully around so that it's now facing the other way, and you're just going to push it back down, and then you're going to take these 2 flaps here and boom, fold these in so that it's flat like so. Next thing to do here would be let's do the legs, because that's where most of the transformation in this mode is. As you guys can see, here's a cockpit for the ship mode, which doesn't look too bad, but let's go ahead and do the legs. So undo them, untab them here completely. What you could do here is then essentially you have to undo this whole part. So untab this whole section here and just undo the whole leg so that you leave this sort of hanging out like this. Then take the thread part here and you're going to push it in all the way like that, so that you're left with something like this. And then you're going to take this and just leave it like that for now. Push these threads down. You can then essentially what you're going to do now is you're going to take this section, and there is a tab here that I'm pointing at that's going to tab into here, and then this section here as well is going to fit into here. You'll see, hopefully you'll get to see what I'm doing. So you're going to take this black part, you're going to make sure it tabs, it's going to click into there like so, and then this whole section here, it's gonna just sit in there. You'll see it like so. Once you tab this in, take this section here, pull that out, that's for the spaceship mode, swing this this way, and then you can tab this in. It tabs right in there. You just have to sort of play around with it. Once you get that in like so, it tabs in there like that, and you're going to be left with something like this. These silver wings here, you're going to pull them out and they're going to be like this essentially. So same thing here. What you could do is fold this way, undo this whole section here so that this thing comes apart like so. This thread here on the leg, push it in, take this, completely swing it around like so. Then again, as I said, is this is gonna get folded, so this knee is gonna get tabbed in there, and that's gonna tab into here. So just take that and fold it around. You'll hear it tab in, and then undo that, and then just turn it this way so that it's pointing the same way and it's out of the way. Just make sure that kind of clicks in place, and then just take the leg, and again you're gonna make sure that that tabs in to the bottom there like so. Then you're gonna take this gray part here, and you're just gonna fold out the wings all the way down like that. So you're left with something like this at this point. And it'll make sense in a bit once we get everything else sort of into place here. So next thing would be to fix this whole mess with the hands here. So next thing to do here would be to take this, fold the arms out for now, and then essentially we're gonna fold this in so that it fits somewhat like that, because then this whole section is gonna, this whole section here is going to fit into there like so. You can move these out of the way for now. like so. And then next thing to do would be essentially we got to swing these arms all the way around and down. So just take this like so, and the arms are gonna go like this, like so. You can take the arm cannon off for now, but essentially once you take that off, make sure you put it back to essentially how it was before, just about. So just leave it like that, and then maybe turn this way so you're left with that, and we're gonna just do that. So leave that aside for now. These hands are sort of just gonna sit like so, and then essentially we're gonna make these face down. So this section here, you can put the cannon here if you wanted to. Just put it back, and like so. And again, you're just going to turn the forearm, not the whole arm, like this, so that it's left pretty much centered at that point. Now the next thing to do is now you can start fixing everything else into place here. So take these the hip skirts here, the swing around, open them up and swing them all the way this way to get them out of the way, get them ready. You can then fold them down if you want. And the next thing to do would be to just swing the legs back pretty much to how they were in robot mode. You're just gonna tab them in essentially, like you're transforming, like you're putting the legs back to where they were. You can move the arms out of the way to give you some room, and move these out as well here, because they're gonna clip in. So do that, and just make sure you get the legs tabbed in. Next thing to do is now these gray hip skirts, there's going to be a gray tab here that these kind of lock into place like so, and then same thing here, that should lock into place, and then you're left with something like this. You could try and fix the legs here to look something like that. And the next thing to do is these arms are then going to tab in to the legs. There's a section here that I'm pointing at, this tab here will go into there for the arms, and it'll sit like so. And then same thing here on this side. You're just going to do pretty much the same thing. You're going to tab that in. It doesn't really tab in place too well, which is one of my complaints. I think they've sacrificed quite a bit, I think, at least from my perspective, to get this to make this guy into a triple changer. I appreciate that they've tried to give us quite a bit here, but I don't know, this mode kind of does seem a bit half-baked. And once you're done fixing the bottom section here, you are pretty much done. And this is his ship mode. Obviously the top part here is probably the better look for this guy, but it's still, I don't know, I think this just looks like a pretty jumbled mess to me. And then when you start looking at the bottom, same thing. Again, I wish they would have left this just as a Megatron transforming into a tank, and I think they probably could have done a way better job rather than trying to shoehorn two vehicle modes into one. To me, this is probably my least favorite mode here. Again, I get what they were going for with the cockpit here. This is also really nice, but you know, this doesn't make up for the rest of it. It kind of just, the legs kind of spread out there like this, with some panels that are meant to look like wings, and then you've got things here that don't really quite click in place in this mode. You have to keep tabbing things in and messing with things to get it just right, which is frankly a bit frustrating sometimes. So yeah, I would say out of both modes, this is probably my least favorite. It's not terrible, it's just kind of meh. And again, I really wish they would have just concentrated on an awesome tank mode for this guy. But that is your ship mode. So back to robot mode here. And I gotta say, this is, if you're going to get this figure, at least in my opinion, this is a mode that you should get it for. The robot mode, in my opinion, it's pretty flawless. It looks awesome. I think where this figure starts to fall apart is once you start getting into the transformation aspect of it, which I don't mind the complexity. I think it's sometimes even welcomed in certain figures, but I think in this case they try to cram perhaps a little too much to try to make this guy into a triple changer. But for me specifically, because I display most of my Transformer figures in this robot mode, this thing looks ace. It looks awesome. So again, that's my opinion. Definitely do think this is a cool looking version of Megatron, the concept art Megatron here. As we close, let's do some comparisons. So the first one here is my masterpiece. Megatron, of course, is being more G1. So you guys could see the size comparison there. And of course, this being a masterpiece figure, he is a lot taller, but of course the Studio Series here, the concept art Megatron, he's not a slouch there. You know, he's a bit above his waist, but you guys could see there the differences and the similarities. And this is what I appreciated about the newer Bumblebee and even Rise of the Beast designs, is they were able to take something like this and sort of give it a new flair, modernize it, whatever you want to call it. And it pays homage to that G1, but then it looks completely different, right? All the paneling and everything, it looks pretty cool. So just want to show them there so you guys can see the similarities and differences. Continue on with the whole Megatron aspect of this thing here. Here he is next to the Siege Megatron. This was a recolor that they did in, I guess, more animation like colors for the 35th anniversary, if I'm remembering correctly. But as you can see there, you know, concept Megatron is pretty tall, a little taller than here Siege Megatron. But again, you can see the similarities and differences there. So we'll move him out of the way, and then we'll put him next to a smaller guy. This is the Siege, sorry, not Siege. This is the War for Cybertron Megatron. This is the original that came out a while back. I do have the reissue of this guy, or the newer version that they just made. I may just do a video on that guy, but I love this. This thing is like awesome. But again, he is much smaller than concept art Megatron here. But again, you know, two awesome looking figures that they do look pretty cool. We'll move him, and then next up in line is of course Galvatron. And Galvatron here, pretty comparable in size. Galvatron is a bit more chunkier looking, but I would say they are about the same height, just about. So again, just want to show you guys what that looks like. And then of course Armada Megatron here, and again, whole different series, but again, just wanted to show you guys Armada here, Megatron, probably around the same size, but his big shoulder tank threads do make him look a little bigger than this guy. He's certainly a lot chunkier, I would say, especially in the legs and the chest. But again, just want to show you guys, these two actually look pretty cool together. I love this Armada Megatron here. But yeah, so that's that one. Move him out of the way. Let's do some figures from the actual Bumblebee movie, starting with good old Soundwave there. And of course we have Ravage here, looking all cool. But yeah, I mean, this definitely looks apart, man. This is why I wish this guy would have been in the movie, at least in the beginning. But these two together, you know, can't have Megatron without your Soundwave, and these two definitely look cool together there with Ravage. How awesome would it have been to see these two in the movie? But there you go. That's what they look like together. So we'll move him out of the way. And then some of the good guys here. We have Ironhide from that Bumblebee movie, And of course, you see the massive size difference. And we also have Ratchet here, which is pretty much the exact same old Ironhide Ratchet. But again, you guys can see the size difference there. You can see what they look like together. And then we'll move Ironhide here out of the way, and we'll put in little Brawn, which again, even a more extreme size difference there, but I think they both look pretty cool. We'll move these two guys out of the way, and then finally, of course, you can't have your Megatron without your Optimus Prime. And again, these two look awesome together. I will say though, this is an older figure. This is a Studio Series 38, if I remember correctly, but I love this thing. I think it still looks pretty cool. I do think Megatron is more, I guess because it's a more recent figure, I think it's better done than Optimus. But again, this guy is awesome there. Where you could see him there. Megatron is much taller as they face off there. You know, probably about 2 heads taller, I would say. Yeah, just about. But I don't mind that. I guess I always like my bad guys to be a little taller than the good guys. But it's so nice, again, to have these here. I'm so glad they were able to make the concept art Megatron into an actual figure, even though we didn't get this guy in the movie. But you guys could see him there. But I gotta say, I would still recommend this Megatron. I don't know that we'll get another one like him. And even though, for me, the whole triple changer aspect of Megatron seems a bit, I guess, haphazardly done. It's not terrible by any means, but I'm not crazy about it. I think they should have concentrated just a bit more, just perhaps on making him a tank and sort of trying to refine that and making that look better rather than having 2 modes. But it is what it is. Just showing you guys here what you get here with Megatron. Me personally, as I said, in this mode, he's awesome. This is how I will display him in that robot mode, maybe facing off against Optimus there with Soundwave. But definitely a cool Transformer figure. So that's it for me, guys. If I missed anything, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. Otherwise, thank you so much for your time, and I will catch you in the next video. Take care.